What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another quick episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. March 5th, the NFL just had its franchise tag deadline come through. The next major, event in the NFL timeline is going to be free agency starting next week. So we got our franchise tags in. We're going to go over those. Only 8 players were franchise tagged. Today, we'll kind of talk through each one. A few on offense, a few on defense, and free agency starts next weekend. So I'm pretty pumped for that, or next week. And then now, hey, maybe we'll get some movement with Justin Fields and some other trades and things like that. But I'm gonna hop right into a screen share here, and we're just gonna kind of read through each franchise tag and let you guys know what's going on here. So scrolling down, and I think this year there were less franchise tags used than last year. And at the top of the list here is going to be the Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. $21.8 million for the franchise tag here. I think they're still I think they're working towards a long-term deal. And if you guys remember the Jonathan Taylor saga last year, like they were not willing to pay him money. We'll see if Michael Pittman gets his money, but I think they want him there long term. I feel optimistic that he'll get a long term deal done at some point. Obviously, Michael Pittman Jr. played really, really well last year. That was with Gardner Minshew. We'll see how he plays with Anthony Richardson for a full season. But I think this is I think we're going to get a deal done with this. So the 21.8 million, it's fine. I don't expect him to sit on it and maybe play through it, but he would if he had to. But either way, this is a really good start for Michael Pittman, I guess, at least get the contract talks rolling. I don't think he's a top 5 receiver, so he's probably being paid, handsomely here. I think Mike Evans just set the market with the $26 million contract, but Pittman will probably come in around, and let me actually pull this up. I want to see what the market value was for Michael Pittman. We'll just go to the Fantasy Fellowship, the free agency tab here, and Pittman's market value was 22.7, so he might get a little bit more than that. Good deal for him. Hopefully he can get the 3-4 year deal with a bunch of million guaranteed. But for now, Michael Pittman Jr. franchise tagged here. The Patriots went ahead and they used the transition tag on safety Kyle Duggar. It's about $13.8 million. He's a quality safety here. I don't know if he's like an All Pro or Pro Bowl safety, but I like it. They could have placed the franchise tag on Duggar, but that would have been 17.1 million and made him the 4th highest paid safety in the NFL in terms of average per year. So instead, they went with the transition tag, and he'll probably work for a new long-term deal as well. But there you go, Kyle Duggar of the New England Patriots. Another safety is getting it here. This time it was the franchise tag, $17.1 million for a top 5 safety. And this is a placeholder. That's what most of these franchise tags and these transition tags are. It's like, okay, we can't come to agreement on something right now. Let's just get the tag out of the way and we'll continue talking. Winfield is one of the better safeties in the league. Helped him win a Super Bowl, Pro Bowler, All-Team Pro. He's a really quality safety, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get upwards of 20 million, but he should be able to lock in a deal around this average here. So Antoine Winfield Jr., safety for Tampa Bay, locks in with the franchise tag. Another corner here, well, I guess the first corner, Jalen Johnson. $19.8 million franchise tag here. I guess they've been going back and forth for months over a contract extension and weren't able to agree to terms. So we'll see. I don't expect anything for holding out, but Jalen Johnson, really good player. He probably should hit that $20 million. Last year, he had his best season in a contract year as he was named second team All-Pro and earned Pro Bowl honors. Really good player. And when Johnson said he feels like he deserves to be the highest paid cornerback in the league, he spoke with merit. So aiming for that top contract. And I just want to look at Spot Track NFL cornerbacks. Let's see who's got the highest cornerback right now, average. And that's going to be Denzel Ward with the highest value. Season average, it's Jair Alexander, 21 million. Denzel Ward, 20.1. L'Jarius Sneed, we'll talk about him in a second. He got 19.8. So yeah, he's looking to get over 20 million per year. So the Bears got some work to do with them. Josh Allen getting the franchise tag here, $22.748 million. Let's go ahead and look at the edge position. We'll go outside linebacker here. And top edge rushers right now, TJ Watt, 28 mil, Bosa, 27, Gary, 24, Khalil Mack, 23.5, Bradley Chubb, 22. And this franchise tag gets him 22.7. We know he's a really good player. He was the 7th overall pick in 2019, really productive player. They don't really have a lot of key pieces on that defense, so keeping him around, I think, is a priority. They're probably going to continue to talk and get something restructured here, but man, he's going to cost probably. I mean, there's a chance I don't think he's going to get TJ Watt money. He might be able to get the Bosa money though, somewhere in that. I think 24 to 27 million is probably where he's going to end up. So Josh Allen, best player on the defensive side of the ball for the Jags, he should be able to get something done there. Justin Madubuike, looking to sign Madubuike to a long-term extension. Franchise tag is 22 million for the defensive tackle here. Let's look at the top defensive tackle contracts here. Quinnen Williams, 24 mil. Aaron Donald, 31.6 mil. Quinnen Williams, 24. Jeffrey Simmons, 23.5. Daron Payne, 22.5. Dexter Lawrence, just under 22. Not a bad getting 22 million in the franchise. I don't know how much more he's going to be able to get out of them. He can maybe squeak into the 23s and 24s. He's a really good player. Maybe he sets the market again, but we know he's their anchor on that side of the ball. We'll see if he can get more. His streak of 11 straight games with at least half a sack last season is tied for the longest in a single season. So second team All-Pro, his first Pro Bowl, career season last year. So these guys are making big time plays in their contract year. So Madubuike, they're going to try their best to make sure he stays with them. They got some nice young players on that side of the ball, so keeping them together makes sense. Alrighty, the Carolina Panthers have franchise tagged Brian Burns with the hope of signing him to a long-term contract. $24 million is the franchise. That is the franchise tag, and Burns has been very productive since he came into the league. He's been in. They used the 5th-year option on him, but 46 career sacks in 5 seasons. Pretty much, playing every game in the last 5 years. He's been able to stay healthy. Very productive player. So he's going to cost them quite a bit of money. And if we go back and look at those edge rushers here, skipped it. Outside linebacker. On terms of average, TJ Watt, 28. Joey Bosa, 27, Rashawn Gary, 24. I think that Rashawn Gary number is going to be kind of the floor for these guys getting new contracts. So anywhere 25 to 27. And hey, don't forget, like the salary cap went up. So maybe these numbers get inflated a little bit. And honestly, the Panthers aren't paying anybody. They paid Adam Thielen. That's about it. So they might be able to give Brian Burns a good chunk of money here. So I would expect him to get something done soon. He needs to be there. Franchise tag, 24 million. Alrighty, cornerback. L'Jarius Sneed, with the idea of either signing him to a long-term contract or trading him and receiving compensation from another team. So this is the first kind of potential franchise tag and trade that we're hearing about. Franchise tag is $19.8 million. Sneed, of course, he's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Last year, let's see how much I don't think he's been making a lot in his time there. He's probably still playing off his rookie deal. He's way down the list. So, he wants to get as much money as possible. And if they have to trade him to do so, maybe the new team can give him the long-term deal that he's looking for. But again, very productive player. Let's look at his stats from the last 4 years. Last year, no sacks last year, but 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions, 2 interceptions, and 10 total interceptions on the season. I wish I had the PFF stuff up so I can see more of his detailed stuff, but he's been healthy for 3 straight years. He's a vital piece of that defense. They need to keep him around. That defense helped win them a championship the last 2 seasons, and L'Jarius needs a huge part of it. But, if they can get compensation for him, I don't know what they'd be able to get, but he's a lockdown corner. If they don't want to pay him $20+ million, we might have to see him move on. So we'll see with L'Jarius Sneed, franchise tagged for 19.8. But we'll get to the last one here. T. Higgins, wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. The 2 sides were unable to reach a long-term extension before the start of the season, and the tag designation was always the likely outcome. He's being franchised for $21.816 million, and I don't know what his future holds here. They obviously paid Joe Burrow last year a lot of money. They're going to have to pay Jamar Chase a lot of money here. I'm assuming they're going to pick up Chase's 5th-year option and then maybe negotiate a long-term deal. But I think the days of Higgins, Burrow, and Chase playing together are probably numbered. If we can get one more year out of Higgins in Cincinnati, I think that's probably the most likely option. And who knows, maybe T. Higgins gets traded at some point this summer or maybe during the season. The Bengals would hate to lose their player and not get anything in return for him. So we'll see on T. Higgins. I'm not opposed to seeing him get it moved. Maybe the Panthers come calling and want a receiver. Maybe they can give them pick number 33 or something like that. So Higgins, 21.86 million for this year, but he wants a long-term contract and he deserves one. He's a really good receiver. And maybe I don't know, maybe he's overshadowed by Ja'Marr Chase. I think he could be a team's number one wide receiver. Maybe brighter days are ahead for Higgins with a new team. But he was the last of the franchise tags, and that's really all I got for you guys. I did want to just take a peek real quick and cover any other NFL news that might have trickled through in the last few days here. Some teams have been releasing players as we're getting ready for free agency. So Eric Kendricks released by the Chargers, Jacoby Brissett. Interest in reuniting with the Patriots, interesting. Jerome Baker released by Miami. Joe Flacco discussing a reunion with the Browns. Xavier McKinney, the safety for the New York Giants, was not franchise tagged. He's a quality safety here. There's the Pittman news. There's the Duggar, Jalen Johnson. Will Dissly getting let go by the Seattle Seahawks. This was the ones that I was looking for. Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams, both released by the Seattle Seahawks today. The release comes with a savings of $27.5 million for, I think, both of them. So, these guys, really good players. They haven't played their best ball, though, of late here. Diggs is going to be entering age 31. And honestly, I don't think Jamal Adams played all that well in his time with Seattle. He played his best ball in New York for sure. But, you're looking at 2 starting safeties on the market now, and it's a week before free agency. So I think it's a good timing if you're going to release a player, give them a week or so to get prepared for making visits and things like that. So 2 top safeties, Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams, both on the market. Josh Allen, the franchise tag. Emmanuel Mosley restructured or re-signed to a 1-year deal. Madubuike field. Here's one of them that I like to see. The Dolphins re-signed Dalton Schultz here, the Texans. 3-year, $36 million contract. I think 24 of it's guaranteed. And it just makes sense. Like he gelled nicely with CJ Stroud. He was a security blanket in times when he needed him. And Schultz is still a young player for a tight end. I think he's 27, 28 years old. Keeping that together with CJ Stroud, I think makes a lot of sense. And now you have Schultz, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. I'm going to assume that the Texans go out and add at least another receiver to kind of, get some more targets for CJ Stroud. But I thought this was a good signing. And for a decent amount of money, 3 years, $36 million, that's a $12 million average. That's kind of right in line with, I think, Dalton Schultz. So good move there by the Texans. Panthers releasing Hayden Hurst. Not sure what he's going on. He was just 1 season into a 3-year, $21.75 million deal. So yikes. Darius Williams released. The Giants not taking Saquon Barkley is interesting, man. They're going to let him test free agency, what happens. We'll leave it at that. That was the quick hitting franchise tag news and a couple other things for you guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for hanging out. And don't forget to subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff. Peace.